Hello, this is a self video as part of the application process with Faces, and I'm here to answer the 12 questions. So, number 1, tell us about yourself. What are your interests and hobbies? My name is Owusu-Bempah. I have 3 years diploma in basic education and also a 4-year Bachelor of Science in integrated science education. I have 5 years teaching experience with 3 years high school experience and then 2 years middle school experience. My hobbies are music, dancing, sports, and I also enjoy researching for information. My interest is to develop my career to become a great teacher, an experienced teacher with many great experiences. Number 2, what motivated you to become a teacher for the subject you are applying for? I became interested in science at high school when I met a teacher who made science so real and relevant to the extent that I came to understand that science is an indispensable subject, and I have mentored his way or style of teaching ever since I became a teacher, and I have had many impacts in many students that I've handled so far. My motivation now comes from the feedback I receive from my students as an impact in their achievements and accomplishments. Thank you. So number 3, tell us about your involvement in extracurricular activities that you could coach or supervise. When it comes to using our hands and body to perform an action, I have that ability. I am a teacher who has made it a point to be present at all social gatherings or school gatherings, if only I am fit and well. I am a versatile athlete. In college, I received certification in soccer, volleyball, and tennis. As a result, I am the school coach of my school now, and I also train students in choreography because I have some dancing abilities too. And I can confidently tell you from experience that all students, whether high achievers or low achievers, aspire to be part of these training sections to develop their psychomotor skills. Number 4, what subjects have you taught and at what age levels? After my 3 years diploma in basic education, I taught maths and science at middle school level. But after high school, after my bachelor's degree, I have been teaching only science with 3 years high school experience and 2 years middle school experience. And as a general science teacher, I teach all the aspects, that is chemistry, physics, and biology. And this gives me an edge because I am able to relate the connections and interdependence of the aspects and make science relevant and real for students. Science is perceived to be difficult and complicated, but if you break the concept down and relate the concept to what students already know, it makes the understanding and then the lesson becomes relevant to students and help them to grasp the concept faster. Number 5, how do you prepare to teach your lessons and what do you include in your lesson plan? As a science teacher, I do advanced preparation on weekends by gathering my teaching learning resources and also preparing my lesson notes. I also do plan for transition because moving students from one activity to the other, if you don't plan, there will be some interruptions. My lesson plan has RPK, that is the relevant previous knowledge. It has lesson objectives, that is what students are expected to get or gain or learn at the end of the lesson. Then it also has a teaching learning resources and also learning activity or activities that we perform. That is where I employ my teaching strategy. And it also has evaluation, that is assessing the learning process and also the learning outcome. Number 6, talk about two teaching strategies or methods that you effectively use in your classroom. I choose my teaching strategy based on the nature of the topic, the availability of teaching and learning resources, and more importantly, the core competencies that I want to develop in my learners. So I mostly settle on group work or collaborative learning. Basically or specifically, think, pair, share, and sage in the circle. Now I choose this teaching strategy because I want to develop in my learners the 21st century skills which will equip learners with more than academic knowledge. I want to develop learners who understand gender equality and social inclusions, learners who understand the need to establish and maintain healthy relationships with others and adapt to varied social groups and situations. I also employ problem-based learning when I want to develop my learners' thinking and creativity skills. Also, to improve their problem-solving skills, I resort to the problem-based learning, and this equips learners with the ability to think and use their perceptions to solve complex problems. That is number 8. Number 7. When someone enters your classroom, describe the learning activities in which the students are engaged. If you enter my classroom, you'll see me as a facilitator giving instructions to learners who are put in groups of varied abilities, gender, and social inclusions. And the students will be engaged in a think, pair, share activity. I'll pose a question to the entire class and ask every student to think about the problem and write their solutions, after which they will join their groups and deliberate on the problem and find solutions and present a group work to me. Now, I will be attending to the individual groups to offer assistance and help to groups or individuals that need them. And I'll also award points and marks based on their participation, exhibition of leadership skills, and other character competencies that I want to develop in them. So when the group discussions is all over, there's going to be a whole class discussion where whether myself or a student or a group will come and then present, lead the discussion so that we find a better solution to the problem given. Thank you. Number 8. What methods do you use to evaluate your students' progress? I evaluate my learners' progress based on the character competencies that I want to develop. So I evaluate both the learning process and the learning outcome, that is the achievement. So evaluating the learning process, I use observation, active participation, exhibition of leadership qualities as they participate in groups. I assess all those and other character competencies that I want to develop. Then also, I evaluate the learning outcome or knowledge acquisition using quizzes, class tests, end of semester examinations, project work, and other evaluation skills. Number 9. If you use technology in your teaching, describe how you incorporate it into your teaching. Describe any experience you have with smart boards. I use a variety of ICT tools and technology in my teaching. For instance, I use my laptop and projector to display science simulations, videos, pictures, and charts to help students have a feel of the real object and help them understand the concept. I also use Google Team and Google Classroom to create a virtual classroom where I share content like notes, assignments, videos, and whatever material that I want to share with my students. With regard to smart boards. I use it almost every Friday during PLC, departmental PLC sessions. And the challenge here is that getting access to use it in your teaching or teach your class is the challenge, because we don't have one in our classroom. So I have to take them to the department anytime I want to use it. And anytime we have access to the smart board, it improves or helps teaching and learning positively. Alright, so that takes us to the next question, number 10. If you have students who are noisy or non-attentive, share ways you gain their attention without interrupting the lesson. Now, managing or controlling classroom noise is one of my duties as a teacher. As a teacher, I should be able to manage your classroom to create a conducive environment all the time. So what I do is that whenever I meet my students first time, I create some icebreakers or develop icebreakers with them to create a pattern that snaps them from one mood to the other. I have developed so many gestures in the classroom that when I do, students know how to respond, and they understand that as soon as the icebreaker session is done or completed, they are expected to keep quiet. So after these sections, if a student is still in the initial mood, I will stay calm and look closely at them, and anybody closer will draw their attention, because they know that to be a violation of the classroom norms that we have all set. So basically, this is how I snap my student, and the gestures do work. Okay, that takes us to number 11. Describe the most difficult problem you have had to deal with as a teacher, and how did you resolve the problem? When I got my first teaching job at Kumasi West Girls Senior High School, I refused to set classroom norms and rules because their initial behavior was okay and good. But after some time, I noticed that they have developed some changes, and it affected class participation, even group participation. So I quickly tried to set the rules or right the wrongs, and they didn't take it lightly because they felt that I was changing the rules in the middle of the game, and they thought I was going to be strict. So the attitude towards learning changed. They were not participating in class, they were not contributing, even answering questions. So I took one whole lesson to explore my social learning skills by teaching them the need to understand one's emotion, beliefs, and thoughts. They need to establish a good relationship and then adapt to varied social needs. So after this advice section, every day when I enter classroom, I try to advise them, and because of my relationship with them, in no time they snapped back to their initial mood and started participating in class, because I am someone who is able to entertain all the time. So with my skills, I do entertain them, make them laugh, and I use that to bring them back to the normal rapport that we have. So this takes us to our last question, which says, give an example to show that you are a flexible person and that you can make changes to your teaching. My teaching strategy is based on meeting the varied needs of my students. And so I always vary my teaching strategies and methods to meet the individual differences in my classroom. When I give out work to students, I give instructions as to how to go about the problem, but I also allow for creativity. And so when I realize that a student is using a different approach, I allow them to use it and offer guidance to the students to arrive at the objective. So basically, that is how I make my lesson flexible for students. Thank you.